Hey guys, we are back with a new episode of the Life of a Makeup Artist podcast. And guess who's back? The Gracie J. Today we're going to be talking about stepping up your creative game and knowing your worth. Now, Gracie has graced the podcast for, pun intended, before. And I wanted to talk to you today, Gracie, about, content creation. Like, you have really elevated what content creation means, especially, as a creator, as, a manicurist. I know that you're way more than that. But I want to just share some tips and tricks today, some quick tips and tricks, because I know we're always trying to figure out damn, I don't feel creative. I don't know what to do. I don't know what apps to use. So first, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back.
Of course, absolutely. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to get into I'm cutting right to the chase. You have created some videos that have gone viral, and we are going to share these on the Life of a Makeup Artist Instagram at the Life of a Makeup Artist, so make sure you're following us. You created a nail pick and a museum scene. All of these things are it's so imaginative. Like, how do you come up with your ideas?
I think I think it should be safe to say that my bae wants credit too, because he really helps me come up.
Really?
He helps me ideate things too.
Right.
But a lot of times I come up with ideas of where I want to place my art, of where I see myself.
Right.
So with the museum nails, I want to see my work in a museum one day. So I'm like, let me show people what that looks like. So I
Right.
create things based on where I see myself as an artist.
Right.
Yeah, where I would love to see nail artistry.
I love that. Okay, so you come up with these ideas and then you go to Home Depot. It's Home Depot, right?
Girl, it could be Home Depot,
Michael's.
Lowe's, Michael's. If you don't.
So when you walk in there, what are you looking for? What type, is it textures? Is it
Textures. I love textures. I love patterns, and I follow people who create really amazing content. So I pay close attention to, how they are, what the composition of their sets and stuff are. I try to figure out what are some, unconventional ways and unconventional things that I can use to really make my stuff stand out. So when I do go to these places, of course, I make a list because I don't want to be in there feeling all crazy. I want to find different textures. I want to see different colors that might go with the concept that I'm working with. And if there's anything that grabs my eye, I'm like, I'm pulling this because
Right.
I could use this in something that I didn't think I could, that I wasn't even here for.
right? No, I absolutely think that you have been creating content that is, I think, it's been inspiring others. I saw you posted someone recreating your work, and what happens is that sometimes we look to only Instagram or only Pinterest, which I love Pinterest. I love Instagram, but sometimes you have to think outside of the box, and I think that's what your work embodies. And I wanted to ask you these questions today because even as a makeup artist, I think even a lot of people are listening to the podcast that have different backgrounds, but sometimes we can feel stuck in a rut on what to do now. When you have that feeling damn, I don't have any new ideas, I have new content, where do you go besides your boo?
All right, slow down now. He don't give me all my ideas. But whenever I get in that mood or in that funk, then I know it's time for me to pull back and regroup. And I know it's probably like, girl, you coming close to a burnout. Okay. Relax, calm down. So it's time for me to really take that moment to reset and do whatever it is that I have to do for myself internally, creatively, and not necessarily think about it for my platform. And then smoke a little weed or something, and then listen, I'm telling you,
I love it.
Get my little joint together. Hashtag if there's a weed brand that wants to sponsor me. But yeah, and get the creative flow moving again.
Right.
It's not that serious. It happens to all of us, and when it happens, it's time to take a step back and just regroup.
Right. So what are some apps that you would recommend for creatives? I mean, I know there's a ton of apps, and there's, the ones that we already know, right? But I think when you do your stuff, it's a little different. It's giving elevation. Okay, so I need to know what apps are on Gracie J's phone, okay?
The top 3 apps on my phone that I use on a consistent basis is Splice, Prequel, and Snapseed.
Okay.
Yes. Splice is amazing for video editing. Like it's like video editing for dummies.
Right.
I'm not a dummy, but I listen. It's not my forte, but so Splice, Prequel is amazing with the different filters
Right.
and effects that you can add to images for whatever feel you're going for, and Snapseed is amazing for photo editing. Like it's amazing. I love it. It's simple.
So before we okay, so we've gotten all the tips and stuff. Like I want to talk real quick about knowing your worth, because I think once you start creating that content, what would be your main thing in understanding or giving someone advice on understanding their worth when they do start to create this content, when they do start to like put out stuff that they're proud of?
Ooh, that's a lot. It's but I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Parking lot pimping. What I'm trying to give. I love that show, by the way. I would say figuring out, what is a rate that you're comfortable with walking away with, and keeping that in the back of your mind. But also when you get sought out, asking them what their budget is,
Right.
because 9 times out of 10, the budget that they're working with is probably more than you had in mind, and so
Right.
you don't want to cut yourself short at
Right.
at a financial opportunity. I think being comfortable also with saying the word no, because a lot of times things won't align. It won't
Right.
align with the message you're trying to portray, and the money they're trying to offer you is
Right.
not worth it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how big the brand is. I mean, you have to make the right decision for yourself. If you
Right.
do decide to do it for a rate, just make sure whatever you're getting is reciprocal to what
Right.
you're giving them. Make sure you're getting some type of equal exchange.
Right.
That is very important. I think that's like my top main
Right.
advice that I would give to anyone when it comes to knowing your worth, knowing when to say no, equal reciprocation,
Right.
and asking what their budget is first.
You said it. So for my last question, I would love to know, like you've started to, create this content. You're trying to partner with brands in a different way. You are asking the budget, but what happens when like maybe I'm scared to put my stuff out? Maybe I'm scared to reach out. Like how do you go from like I'm actually doing this. Like it's hard because
You just gotta do it.
That sounds easy, but sometimes it's hard to be like, I'm gonna try this new concept or this new thing.
You
and
just
like,
gotta do it.
Okay.
You just have to do it, because I come up with different concepts all the time, and
then you're like, am I crazy? Does this look good?
right,
Like, yeah.
right. And sometimes, whether it does well or not, it's a learning opportunity for you to figure out what can I do better next time.
Right.
I come up with different concepts all the time, and there are times where I continue with it, and some are like, okay, I'm bored now. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
But if it's something that sticks, keep doing it and figure out how can you improve it? How can you help it speak to your audience better? Pay attention to what people are commenting. Pay attention to how they're reacting to it. And that's basically it. You never know how it's going to do unless you just put it out there.
Put it out there.
Put it out there. That seems to be the hardest part, but it's really the easiest part. The
Right.
hardest part is starting, and the easiest part is just put it out there.
Well, that's the word for now, for 2022. Put it out there. But Gracie, I am so happy that I just really so admire your creativity, your work, and I really wanted you to share, because I asked you for advice. I asked you for
Vice versa.
right, feedback on my stuff, and I think that's so important to sometimes get that outside perspective. But I also love how you conceptualize, and you do a lot with your content, and it's really inspiring. So I'm probably gonna put more in the show notes. I'm probably going to slide in your DM so we can get some more tips. But thank you so much for popping on this
Thank
quick
you for
little
having
cute
me again.
podcast. Of course, you're the best. We will see you guys in the next episode. And Gracie, how can we find you once again?
First of all, I hope my kneecaps are not ashy, so let me just do this. But y'all can find me at the Editorial Nail on Instagram, and share, slide in my DMs.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gracie. Bye, guys.